Welcome to the Utah Stories Podcast. I am your host, Matthew Pine, and today we have with us Erika Carlson from the organization Peace House located in Park City. Erika, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So can you just explain to our audience what the organization Peace House does and what it represents?
Yeah, so Peace House is located in Park City. We are focused on eradicating interpersonal violence. We serve Summit and Wasatch counties.
Oh, great. And what services does Peace House provide?
So many. We have shelter, we have a helpline, we have clinical therapy, we have children's services on the horizon.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's cool. Are there any misconceptions about the work that Peace House does? And if you want to speak about any of those.
Yeah, I think that people have seen us as a shelter primarily. So we've been around for almost 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we did start really as kind of a task force
Mm-hmm.
that then created a shelter. And something that's a little different about Peace House is we're at a disclosed location.
Mm-hmm.
So historically, shelters are private. They're
Mm-hmm.
something that, folks go to obviously for help, but they're sort of hidden from the community. And we are really trying to kind of change that perception and make it known that people should seek help.
Okay, great. And what you just mentioned the community. What does Peace House do for the Park City community? And I know we had mentioned before recording about some upcoming events as well.
Yeah, so we have quite a lot of events and quite a lot of outreach happening. We have a movie on March 7th, so
Mhm.
coming up very soon at 7 p.m. at the Jim Santee. And that is actually sort of a precursor to our spring luncheon, which is happening on March 21st.
Okay.
So the movie on the 7th is focusing on Mark Wynn,
Mm-hmm.
and he is a retired lieutenant and used to be a police officer in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
He's also a survivor and an advocate, and so it's kind of a look into his life.
Okay.
And a survivor's perspective, also a male perspective, which is a bit new and different for us.
Yeah, and I think even like misconceptions, like the male perspective is kind of not as much talked about, not as covered as the female side of things. But
Yeah, there's definitely also a misconception that we only serve women. That's definitely not true.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. And I know you'd mentioned something about donations. You're doing some sort of matching system.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, so during the spring luncheon, we have a $25,000 match from the Marriott Daughters Foundation. And so basically, if you donate to that $25,000 sort of pot, they will match that and give us 50 total. So we're looking for donations for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's also nice for folks who cannot participate in the luncheon. We have limited seating, but there are still maybe a few left coming up on the event.
Okay, great. What can community members do to help Peace House as an organization? I know we just talked about some donations, upcoming events. Are there any other initiatives that they can help with?
Yeah, so I think being involved from a volunteer perspective would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And also being your own sort of advocate and an active bystander is always something that's so useful. Like, you never know when you'll come across someone who you may notice, something's just off.
Yeah.
And if you are uncomfortable speaking to them, you can speak to someone like us, like an organization who's so used to dealing with this, and just see what the best opportunity to sort of intervene is, and also make sure that you're aware of the safety of that person.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people don't know how to approach the situation. So it's good to know that you guys are a resource for people to reach out to and connect with and really help those people in need. And then where can people find you online? If they're looking to donate, your calendar of events, where can they find you guys?
Peacehouse.org is the best option. And our 24/7 helpline number is 1-800-647-9161.
Okay, great. Do you have any upcoming other initiatives that you want to speak about?
Yeah, so April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We have an entire team dedicated to that. They'll be in the community pretty much every other day between Summit and Wasatch counties. And then we also have a big event on April 20th for child abuse prevention. So that's with Timpanogos Middle School, which is in Heber. And we'll have a lecture for parents and sort of a workshop so that they can know a little bit, again, about that sort of bystander thing and making sure that kids are safe in their communities, in their homes. And then there's a little reptile show for the kids that come.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, that's cool. Well, it's good to make it like interactive for kids to be involved as well.
Kids need to stay engaged for sure.
Yeah.
And it's nice that the parents have something that they can sort of rely on so that they can really be focused in that workshop.
Okay, great. Is there anything else you wanted to add about Peace House or your organization?
I think just generally that learning more about community initiatives and community organizations is so important for folks who live, amongst so many other people. I'm sure many people have heard this before, but it's typically 1 in 3 women in Utah who experience some sort of assault or abuse, and 1 in 5 men. And so it's more common than people think. And we really are just trying to kind of move that needle closer to it being a conversation that everyone's having.
Yeah, I actually just watched a documentary set in India. It was called To Kill a Tiger. And it was basically going through the victims. It happens every 20 minutes in India. So it's very, very common. And they were shedding light on this issue. And it's just good to hear that organizations like yourself are really out there doing the good work.
And all of the community service organizations that focus on DV and SA, domestic violence and sexual assault, are interconnected in Utah. So we communicate amongst each other as well.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, Erika. It's been a pleasure. And again, if you want to donate or get involved with Peace House, where can they find you?
Peacehouse.org.
Peacehouse.org. All right. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we'll see you next time.